All right, so Brent Key, how do I want to introduce him? Okay, so look, Brent Key, Georgia Tech obviously fired their head coach. They promoted Brent Key from within. Now, when Brent Key went 4-4 as the Texas head coach, as the interim head coach, I don't think at Georgia Tech with that roster that they had is honestly that bad. I thought that they did some good things. First half, they gave Georgia everything that they wanted, but again, everybody's trying to compare themselves to Georgia. Now, Brent Key, the new head coach at Georgia Tech, was obviously his offensive line guy. He played offensive line at Georgia Tech. Some SEC fans remember he replaced Mario Cristobal at Alabama in 2019 and was there until he left to go home and went back to Georgia Tech as the run game coordinator and offensive line coach and the assistant head coach at Georgia Tech. Here's my hot take of the day. I truly believe this in my heart of hearts. If they wanted to, Georgia Tech could be the Notre Dame of the South. I fully believe that. And to some extent, due to the academic requirements of both programs, Georgia is a more rich state when it comes to in-state talent that they're not attacking. They're getting poached by everybody.
Notre Dame has notoriously poached some elite talent like Kyle Hamilton from the private schools in the area. So 100% correct.
It's not just Notre Dame. Florida, Alabama, obviously Georgia gets the ones that they handpick. Clemson goes in there. This is really bad. Joe, here's why I'm not in on Brent Key. You ready? This is what I told you earlier in the show. You want to know why? The number one reason why I'm out on Brent Key right now?
Why?
My man went in the portal and got Haynes King. Probably the thrower of the football and quarterback history. Bro, he's like this.
Yeah, the ball's like up here when he's throwing. You can't do that.
What makes you think that you can go into the portal and get Haynes King? Now, can they work on King's mechanics? Because look, I will tell you a little something now about Haynes King. He's got a little athleticism to him.
He's a 4.3 athlete. That's rumored that he's a 4.3 guy.
If he runs a 4.3, then my Gaguna is hitting the floor. He's not running no 4.3.
He's faster than you think. I was stunned by that too.
I've literally seen Harold Perkins track him down in open space and body slam him. Spare me that
maybe he's a slow. Maybe that means Harold Perkins is a 4.2. I'm just kidding, but
yeah, okay.
He's fast, nonetheless.
You were talking about Jaquelin Roy earlier. Yeah. I've literally seen Jaquelin Roy run him down. Okay, so let's not.
He's fast though. Maybe he's 4.4, 4.5.
He's not faster than Anthony Richardson.
He's much smaller though.
He is not faster than Anthony Richardson.
He's a 4.4 athlete.
Anthony Richardson.
But this is semantics. Semantics. He's a good athlete.
If they can work on that kid's mechanics, maybe you got something. But
he
man,
feels like a little kid playing t-ball. By the way, that was like what I was trying to think of. Like we're like a 5-year-old's playing t-ball, and they like bring the ball up really high, and they like awkwardly kind of shove it. It's just a weird.
Dude, no they're 67th in the 62nd in the country in recruiting. I mean, when you have that kind of a state that's that rich in talent, what are you doing?
There's some optimism here with him.
I have zero.
Right. So they go 4-4. He goes 4-4 as the interim. He has some upsets in this period of time. And for some reason, Georgia Tech fans are so high on Brent Key. So I posted on my channel a reaction video, and I got way more views on it than I should have because I got killed in the comments. It got way too many comments with all these losers complaining that I was saying that Brent Key was a terrible, lazy hire. 4-4 is fine. 4-4 is great. It's easy to rally around a guy who was a former player of the program when you got rid of your head coach. But he is not the long-term solution. And we saw that in recruiting. I know that it's his first year recruiting, but no, I think that this is one of the worst hires of the cycle. I think it's a terrible, terrible hire. And I looked at what their schedule is next season. I'd be shocked if they win 4 games. Shocked if they win 4 games.
Well, and he did win 4 games as an interim.
a lot of the games that he did win were great timing for some of those wins. And again, I give him credit. He had some upsets, but I don't think that is sustainable.
I agree with that. Look, I agree with that. I'm not going to say it's lazy, but you had Willie Fritz. Okay, the two.
That's who they should have hired.
Well, they should have gone. They should have gone to the ends of the earth and hired Willie Fritz. Now, I hate it. It bothers me to say that as a Louisiana homegrown guy because Tulane's right here. But buddy, like you're coming like I look at programs sometimes, Joe, and this is a massive pet peeve of mine. Joe, I know for an outright fact when it comes to hiring head coaches, like hiring dudes, I would find a way to hire Willie Fritz before I promoted Brent Key. Okay, I get that he's one of your guys, but you know what historically doesn't work? Hiring your guy. Okay, it just doesn't work. Joe, the outside of Dabo and outside of Orgeron, who succeeded but yet failed, name coaches that have been promoted from within and that's had massive amounts of success. It just Scott Frost was Nebraska's guy, and how did that work out? It didn't work out at all.
Right.
So I just don't see it right now. I just can't. I can't see the forest through the trees. And if I could, I would say, well, the only way that he was doing that is because he was recruiting at a higher level. When are these programs going to get in a situation where you just like, does Georgia Tech not have money? Like, that's not true. They do have money.
I just think they don't care. Like that's where I'm at. It's an institution where I don't think that they care if they're competitive, because when was the last time that they were competitive? They're not seeking out.
The last time they were competitive was when they had Calvin Johnson. And I mean, that was the last time that they were utterly competitive. And you know what? Before then, it was in the movie Rudy.
Jeez. And that's bad. That's so bad. And honestly, if I'm Willie Fritz, I'm waiting for a better offer, man. I'm waiting for a much better offer than Georgia Tech, because
they don't
care.
Giant though. Think about.
But it is, but it isn't, because they're not going to put in the foundation and the support.
I don't disagree.
Colorado's a sleeping giant. That Deion took that job, and Deion was rumored for the Georgia Tech job, and everyone was so sure that the Georgia Tech fans were actually so sure that Deion was going to take the job because I
actually kind of thought he was going to take it too. The way that he was hinting about. He instantly posted something on Instagram, like he posted a picture of some peaches, like Georgia peach, and I'm like, that some gun's going to Georgia. You know,
I think that Colorado is a team that's more set up for success than him, and then they've already shown a quick turnaround and a willingness to put in as much support as possible. But no, this Brent Key hire, man, the one that I said from the jump is just it was so unbelievably lazy, and that's what the lazy move to do is when. It's harder to get mad at a guy who's one of your program. You know, he gets a longer leash. He's going to get a longer leash than somebody from the outside. It's just the reality of it. And it's a safe move.
I agree with that. But you know what? Again, like I would have called Willie Fritz. You know what else I would have called? I would have called Dan Mullen. I would have made these elite coaches tell me no. Like
they didn't even take the time to do that.
No, they didn't.
They hired him right off the bat.
The best interview that they had was Willie Fritz. It's the best interview that they had. And you're just not going to have success when you can't recruit. Recruiting is the lifeblood that fuels the dreams of champions. And if you don't fuel that lifeblood, then you're not going to be worth a damn. And I would, you know what, Joe, I would have been like, you know what? Okay, well, he had a really crappy high school class, but he killed it in the portal. He didn't even do that. He went and got Haynes King as his primary dude.
And it's not hard. I'm making this sound easier said than done. I would argue that it's feasible to pick apart the portal as an academic school and go and pull the best kids from the Ivy Leagues and from other academic institutions at the FCS level, and then also across the country, guys from Stanford, guys from UCLA, guys from those types of schools. It's not difficult. It's a really good school because those kids value education.
How many guys did Notre Dame have leave?
Plenty that they could have pulled.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
I would have offered every one of them.